Hi, let's look at how to create a transaction type in Kitaabh. From the home screen, click on plus icon and under Accounting Masters, you can navigate to the transaction type. Alternatively, you can also use the keyboard shortcuts Alt M and click on T, go to the transaction type creation screen. Consider a standardized name for easy identification of the transaction type. Here, I am going with name purchase domestic, where I want to track all the transactions which are purchase and domestic under this transaction type. Kitaabh gives you predefined transaction types under which you can create a transaction type. So currently I am categorizing purchase domestic under purchase. You can enter the alias and abbreviation for this transaction type, or you can save the ledger right here. If you want to additionally configure additional details, you can do it from the side panel. Under configuration, you can change the status of the transaction type to active and inactive, where if you're selecting it as inactive, you would not be able to use this transaction type. And under default saving, you can choose between regular and draft, where draft transaction types are only used for temporary transactions. Under provide narration for transaction, you can choose between yes or no. When you enable it as yes, so you have to mandatorily give a certain narration to the accounting transaction. Under provide narration for each ledger in the transaction, if you're selecting this as no, then you will have to give narration for all the accounting transactions under the specific ledger which you're recording. You also have an option to give a default narration for all the accounting transactions recorded under this specific transaction type. Once you select the respective options, you can click on Ctrl A to save. You can also set up transaction numbering by using the tabs detail, series, prefix and suffix for this transaction type. Under transaction numbering, you have the option to enable transaction numbering either using the default option, or you can manually set the transaction numbering based on the organization's requirement. Here I'm just leaving it as it is, go with the automatic transaction numbering. And under series, in case if you're enabling an option to set the transaction series by yourself, you have the option to begin a certain series. And in prefix and suffix, you can enable the transaction type prefix and suffix for all the transactions under the transaction type. Click on Ctrl A once you enable the transaction numbering, and you can click on save, and your transaction type is saved. All the transaction types in Kitaabh are viewed from the transaction type list. Here you can directly create a transaction type, and for an already created transaction type, you have an option to edit and delete it. Let's see how to edit a transaction type. Earlier, we have created a transaction type by the name purchase domestic. So clicking on this, you have a button for editing it. Let's say I want to add an alias name. Let's add domestic purchases. I can click on update, and the change made here is updated in the transaction type. This is how you edit it. Let's say I want to delete the transaction type. I can just simply search for it and click on the delete button here. This is how you edit and delete transaction types in Kitaabh.